Alright y'all, welcome back to another turkey pattern test video, and this one is going to be a good one. I am really excited for what I've got in this video. So to start out with, we're back with the Mossberg 835 Ulti-Mag. And for this video, we're going to be running the stock full choke in the gun. I believe that they kind of call it a turkey full, somewhere in that range. It is a 710 constriction. I did measure it out, and that is exactly what it came to. I have had good results with this in the past with turkey loads, so I'm really excited to see what it can do and get a baseline for some of the other chokes that I'm going to have coming here very soon. Now, as far as the load that I've got today, it's another Salt Creek load, and it's something special, let me tell you. It's the Salt Creek Cold Turkey. These are 12 gauge 3.5 inch shells. They're 12 gauge 3.5 inch 2 3/4 ounce of number 9s, going 1100 feet per second. That is a huge payload and a huge shell. And I gotta say, these shells, they're large in the hands, but they weigh a noticeable amount more than a lot of the other shells that you typically run. It's not even close. It's noticeably heavier. I got to give a huge thank you to the guys over at Salt Creek for wanting to send me that shell. That is going to look ridiculous on paper. I can almost guarantee it. I've been warned in advance about some hefty recoil out of these shells. And if you know anything about the 835 Ulti-Mags, they're overboard and they have a kick of their own, much more noticeable than your typical 12 gauge, say Mossberg 500s or Remington 870s. So with a huge shell and a huge payload on top of a gun that already has more recoil than your typical 12 gauge would, I managed to get my hands on a second camera to borrow for this video, and potentially another one or two as well. That way maybe you guys can see my reaction to the recoil, because I think it's going to be stout, even though I do use a lead sled just for stability purposes. But as per usual, we're going to be set up at 40 yards from the bench with this stock full 710 constriction choke. Now I'm going to leave this one at 40 yards. I have another choke for it that I'm going to be testing this load, and in that video we'll push it to 60, because I think these 2 3/4 ounce loads are going to be ridiculous on paper. I just don't know if this stock full choke at a 710 constriction is going to be quite enough to see the ridiculous results that we want to see once you push it past 60. So we'll start out at 40, get a baseline with these shells in this gun with this choke, and we'll go from there. So let's scoot over to the bench, set up at 40 yards, and see what these shells can do, because I think it's going to be insane. Alright, we're at the bench, set up at 40 yards with the Salt Creek 3.5 inch 2 3/4 ounce 12 gauge loads of number 9 shot. We're with the stock full choke. It's a 710 constriction, so let's see how this thing shoots at 40 yards. Alright, so here it is. That's impressive, to say the least. There are a few flyers, you know, right down here, but for a huge payload like that, that is impressive. That stock full choke gave you a really good hunting pattern. It's pretty nice and even all throughout the head area here, but it gives you enough leeway to where you feel a little bit more comfortable if you had to take them in a little bit closer. But with a 3.5 inch shell, that's a pretty stout load to be taking them at 20 yards or so. I can tell you that. Those stock Mossberg chokes have always surprised me and seem to do a lot better than what you might think they would be able to do. But that's a really nice hunting pattern, and that is a lot of shot. There's no major voids or anything like that. You have a good amount of leeway there, and there is nothing that a turkey is going to walk through anywhere within that 12 to 18 inch range. Not even close. That turkey is not going to survive that shell. So what do y'all think? I gotta say, that's impressive, especially for a stock full choke. That's nothing fancy at all. That 710 stock full choke seemed to give you a very nice and even hunting pattern on that paper if you were to use those 3.5 inch shells. Those things are ridiculous. As far as the recoil on them, yeah, they're pretty stout, I gotta say. That lead sled helps a lot, but it is still noticeably more recoil than any of the other typical 3-inch shells, even all the way up to 2+ ounce payloads. It is noticeably more. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed. That is a beautiful looking hunting pattern out of that Mossberg. I wouldn't be scared at all to take that in the woods, except for maybe I would want to keep the birds out just a little bit farther, like outside of 30, because inside of 30, you're going to decapitate them with that load. That is ridiculous on the paper. The amount of shot you get in that shell is nuts. So what do y'all think? Are you impressed like I am? That is a lot of payload in that shell, I gotta say. Would you hunt with that load, or do you think that a 2 3/4 ounce payload in a 3.5 inch shell is just overkill, especially for your shoulder and your cheekbone if you got to really hammer down on that gun hard? That is a lot of recoil to manage on, say, a run and gun turkey hunt or something of that nature, where setups might not be ideal. But it did give a beautiful hunting pattern. So what do y'all think? Would you use that? Are you guys impressed? I gotta say, it looks pretty good from the Salt Creek guys. And I gotta give another huge thank you to those guys for wanting to send me out some of these shells to test. I'm gonna be putting this shell through another choke I've got for that gun that has already performed very, very well. So I am really excited to see what that one can do at 40, and I'm even gonna push it out to 60 and see what it can do at that range as well. So leave a comment, let me know what you think. Is that just right for what you like? Is that too much or overkill? I don't know. All right, so leave a comment down below, let me know what you think. That was really, really neat to see put on paper. That is a big shell with a lot of payload. So I've got another pattern test I need to get filmed this afternoon while I'm out here, so stick around for that because it will be dropping here very soon. If you guys are interested in the Salt Creek shells, go check them out on their website. I highly recommend them. They perform, they're great guys to work with, so go check them out. And good luck as all y'all start getting in the woods as turkey season starts opening up. I know I've got a few days left before mine opens, so I'm getting my stuff ready to go. So good luck out there, y'all, and I'll see you in the next one.